Okay, so it's like 4:30 in the morning, and it feels just weird, of course. Everything feels really loud, and I feel kind of stressed anyways. Stella has been so fucking stressed out. I can't even believe it. And she'll jump up. All of a sudden, she'll just jump up and start barking. This was happening all yesterday afternoon. I was like, what in the hell? And she would just jump up, and then she would run out and start barking, and other dogs would be barking. I kept thinking, oh my gosh, this got to be a sign there's about to be an earthquake or something. This is crazy. And now her leg, this one especially, keeps hurting. So, where I kept on thinking bone cancer, bone cancer. And so then I went to look it up, like, what are the signs? Because the only thing I know of the signs of they keep licking their paw where it says it's parasites. It's not enough. They need like probiotics in their gut. And so I looked at to see what the signs were, and then of course you see stuff you don't want to see. So most of the dogs that are giant or large breeds get this osteosarcoma or something, this bone cancer, and around 68 years old. So large and extra large breeds, or extra large and giant breeds, anyways, big dogs, because even golden retrievers are it's really common. Winston got a different kind of cancer. I don't think he had bone cancer. He had like bladder cancer, but when I was looking at that back then, it was 1 out of every 6 dogs was going to get cancer. That was the documentaries and stuff I was seeing, and that's when I was like stopping dog food and started making dog food for them, and then for some reason I got back on the dog food because they kept seeming hungry all the time. So I kept thinking maybe there's something in dog food. So I would mix it. I would give them a little bit of dog food. And, but Winston, you know, he had a lot of shitty dog food in his time. Like, that's for sure. And, it makes you feel so bad too, once you know, especially when it's like, I don't know. I'm not gonna blame it. So anyways, it was 1 in every 6 dogs. But now when I just look, it's 1 every 4 dogs is going to get cancer. So the numbers just get worse. And it's all different cancers that dogs get. But this bone cancer is so prone in big dogs. And she's had so many bone problems anyways because of her arthritis. Well, I don't know, I wouldn't say bone problems, but that aching in her bones and her joints. And so it's always worried me that would turn into cancer. And so probably I'm making it happen. And then so I was looking up, and most of the people, like, they go get their animals an amputation and remove the limb that's diseased, and then they get like 6 to 8 more months living. I was like, oh my God, that would be so horrible. Oh my gosh, I don't think I could do that for 6 or 8 more months. So anyways, I kept looking for other things for treatments and stuff, what other people were saying that they did. And so turkey tail mushroom, and I had her on it before, and she's always so picky, but man, I'll just get these supplements in her if I have to make it into a tea, because that's what I'd open and put him in my tea. But now I'm gonna get him and get it into her food, because I've been giving her like the sludge at the bottom of the tea. There's all this sludge of all the concentration of the powders and stuff, and I've been putting that in her tea. So she gets the burdock root, she gets a bunch of good stuff, nettles. And so then Amy had told me about the Sasayak tea or something. And so I'm going to order that. She said she ordered from the website, the direct website. It's so weird when you saw it. Oh my gosh, the direct website? I'm so used to Amazon, and Amazon is turned into some fuckery. Now they are adding commercials on their shows. There's a whole bunch of stuff they're doing. Every company, everything is doing that. Everything is, I mean, it's getting wild out there. Like all these people are stepping down in Florida that hold seats in different positions. Everyone's stepping down. I was like, that's curious. And you know that these are people who, this is what I'm saying, people in their families where it's going to be like, even where they were all hoity-toity and, you know, well, he's on the city council and shit like that. And they thought that they were so proud of him. And then all of a sudden it's going to be like, oh my God, it's going to flip to that other side. It's going to be dramatic. You watch and see. There's going to be some drama. Well, I mean, it depends. I mean, you may not, like, I don't know anybody who, I mean, I don't really know a lot of people at this point. Like, I'm just kind of this weird lady who lives out by herself in the woods with her dog. But the turkey tail, so the turkey tail is doing miracles. Even people whose dogs had diagnosed with osteosarcoma, and that they told them that they needed to do an amputation. And this one girl, I think she had even had hers scheduled or something. I don't even know. But anyways, there's good results with turkey tail. And then I'm also had ordered the acai tea stuff. I've got to get that on payday. Like, fuck. That's like 10 or 11 days away. It's like, whatever. Like, I'm fine. But I'm always like, oh, I gotta get this, I gotta get that. So I ordered the drops because the drops were like half the price. And I did get those off Amazon, but I was like, I gotta start right away. So I'm starting those on Tuesday. She gets those on Tuesday. So I'm gonna start those. And people have great benefits with cancer with this acai tea. It's like for humans, and I don't know what the animal testimonies, but I know the human testimonials are a lot. And one of the things in it is the burdock root. So she's been taking that. And I think that there's another one, but there's like 6 or 8 different roots or something. I guess the combination of them is working miracles with cancer and stuff. So I'm going to get her, that started on Tuesday, the drops, so the tincture. And then I'm going to order the tea when I get paid and then make our own. And then Thursday, the turkey tail comes. And then, so out of the 2 things, I should start seeing something. You know, I thought doing the Ivor, because it was really doing good. And then when it was started doing that, I was like, well, it could be just the parasites, you know, are just coming out of her, because she's got so many cysts right now. Like, oh my gosh, extreme. And so much gas, too. So the Ivor stuff does do something. Move something. And I am putting in some charcoal into hers this week too, just to be like, well, if I'm doing this cleanse, she probably needs the things to evacuate out of her too. Like, I don't know, she's so uncomfortable, man. You're okay, sweet girl. Just lay down. Mama would finish this, and then it's still a long time till daylight. It's like our day is just so weird, man. Our day, and it was like this started in the beginning of my quarantine, because Winston was with cancer. That first part was, man, this has been wild. I swear, this has been a wild ride. As Winston got cancer in the first part, and then my one daughter came, and like, it has been just nonstop wildness, really. It's like, gosh, dang, all that fit into those years. And I don't know, there's a whole thing with time and everything that has been going on. Just the fact that it's already past Christmas, it's about to be a whole other year. It's like, what even happened in 2023? But then you start breaking it down, and it's like, oh my God, fuck, a lot of stuff happened. But, you know, having different people come here and stay and everything. And it just has always seemed kind of like I was in, like, what is that called? Like infirmary mode or something. Like, this has been like an like I've been an on-duty nurse through this whole entire thing. Sometimes for mental health, sometimes for physical health, which I did both. So maybe that's just like step into that role or something. But anyways, it's been intense, man. It's like, ugh. I sit there and just whisper sweet nothings in Stella's ear about, oh, we'll get a nice farm. We'll have a lake on it so she can go out and play in the water. We'll get a bunch of animals. Did you know there's a lot of animals at the shelter? Horses, goats, cow, like all sorts of shit. And they're about to put a whole bunch of stuff down because they have nowhere to put them because nobody goes in and gets them. And so I want to rescue some of the animals that just get discarded and have like a little farm. So Stella has like, oh, me. I wish this stuff would get here faster. And then the last time when we got her medicine, they didn't have the 20-to-1 CBD stuff. And we had to get, I don't know, it's 1-to-1 or something like that. But it has a lot more THC. So I can only give her like a tiny, tiny smidge of it. Tiniest smidge. And because before I was giving her a lot of it. And now it's just I can only give her a tiny bit. And even then when I give her a tiny bit, then it's like, is that why she's acting crazy? Is that why she hears everything louder? Is that why she's like, what's that? What's that? It's like, she's jumping up. It's like, oh man, is it? And I tried to order that stuff, but I was got to wait. She said it wasn't even going to be in until after the first year. Well, I'm not going to get paid again until after the first year. Oh, and I got another notification. I was in a conversation because they were emailing me and texting me from this one plastic surgeon's office yesterday or last evening. It wasn't even in the daytime. It was in the evening. And, well, late afternoon into the evening. And I think the last message was like 8 or 8:30 or something. It's like, dang. Weird hours. And so they were telling me to, you know, set up their consultation. They're always all this, I don't know, like they just are always selling. And so trying to sell me on their spectacular joint. And so then I'm saying what I want because they do these en blancs and, oh, that's what you have to do. Well, you go in and you watch some of that stuff about that. Because then when I was like, well, you know, what is this? You know, how serious is it about taking out this capsule? Which, you know, when you cut out the scar tissue, it's going to form more scar tissue. So what is the point of cutting out scar tissue to form more scar tissue? And add extra trauma. But I have seen where doctors say it's very serious because it's like right there by your, it's so close to your heart and your lungs. And they're like, it really shouldn't just be in there cutting away tissue and stuff like that. And I don't have a lot of tissue. Like that is one thing about my body is it's not like a super muscular structure. It's kind of a bony, lanky one. And then if I and that's why when I gain weight, it's like fat. It's just fat hanging off of me. It's like there's not any muscles or anything. It's uncomfortable. And so I don't have a lot of tissue. I don't want them in there cutting away stuff. It's like, hell no. That's another reason I don't now. And I didn't even know that reason. It's like, no, I'm not going to go in there and get your en blanc because you got to be super fancy because you need to charge somebody $8,000. You want to charge double the amount to take them out as you do put them in. It's like, and then you want to talk them into putting in smaller ones. It's like, no, I want the motherfuckers out of me. I will deal with my flat fucking boobs. I don't care. I prefer them at this point. It's so weird because, you know, I used to, when I had no boobs, it was flat chested. You know, I had this fantasy of, oh, having a bosom, you know, and being more female and being more sensual because you had a bosom or something. And then you get them and, you know, you do go through a period of like getting cute bras and thinking, oh, you know, look at me, look. I've got a bosom. But then you try and lay down and then you try and roll over and then you're like, wait a minute, this bosom's kind of in the way. Like, I don't know if I like this bosom. And then all of a sudden your clothes, you put on certain clothes and your clothes stick out. And it's like, there's nothing, just sticking out. It's like, okay, I don't know if I like this. And so it started being a lot of things I didn't like. And then you start seeing like, oh, there's no perfect size that pleases. You get people's opinions all the time. And then it's like, so your boobs are suddenly opened up to what everybody else thinks about them. And most people are always like, oh my God, they're so great. God, you're so lucky. And all that kind of stuff is like, and a lot of girls, they want you to just like, you know, they want that bosom. Like, go out, build up your cleavage. Go to this. Like, no, why do you want a bunch of people just staring at your boobs while you're trying to talk to them? It's like hard enough to get people to listen to you. And so... anyways, in that conversation, it was very much that they just wanted to sell their thing. And so I said, well, I want the local anesthesia, more holistic approach. I just want them removed. I don't want all that other stuff. And I don't want to go under general anesthesia because they're like, oh no, you'll be put under general anesthesia. They'll come into they're going through the whole experience, telling you what's going to go down. I'm like, no, I just want to go in, and it's like, if you can't accommodate that, then you're not the right place for me. And she's like, okay, well, I hope that you can find a place that works for you. So still back to the one doctor who still agrees she does do them. And so I just have to go and see if I'm a candidate. But then it's like, right now, there's just so much weirdness there's so much weirdness with the storms and stuff like that. It's a little mini tsunami that came out of nowhere. And then I kept seeing people going out and surfing. It's like, that is weird. Surely this is somebody is just sharing these other videos of some other place. Surely they're not going out there mindlessly trying to surf in this strange tsunami weather weird event that has happened. And then I was thinking that just shows this mindless aspect of living over there. It's like the fucking sea has to come up and just swallow you to get your attention. It's like, what the hell? Where's your respect for nature? It's like the fucking people going up to the giant's door. Hey, what are you doing in there? What are you doing? You looking for supper? I'm right here. It's like, I've got some friends too. I was like, God damn, people are just like jacked up on ego. It's mental. And now I have a bunch of things and it's like these little where you can't see the whole thing. It's like a bunch of little, it's like you say something and it opens up a whole thread, but you see all this stuff and it's like, wait, you have to capture it to try and see but all of them have like a little feeling attached to them. Because I'll see a lot of stuff and then I'll always think, oh, I want to talk about that. I want to talk about that. I got to write them all down. But then it's just, I don't know. I'm just not that organized, I guess, when it comes to just speaking from the heart. Speaking from the heart. I could have named it Speaking from the Heart. But it was insights and intuition from Kelly Hart. But I could have said Speaking from the Heart. That would have been a little catchy one. So, let me think for a second. So I think I was saying about something else. So I talked about the medicine that I'm going to try now and see how that goes. And it's just stressful to get to yeah, she's back over here. To get to the couple of days to get to it. And then, but I want to get the appointment for the consultation and go over there. I just keep feeling like stuff is about to do this big shift. Like there's about to be this big shift that's going to happen. And then it feels like that there's going to be things that will like open up. And so I feel like I just got to just kind of tread water until the shift happens. And then when the shift happens, I feel like a lot of stuff is going to start shifting. It's also weird, like right now, like I am washing my clothes this load for the third time. And I have some of the stuff on because I have to keep washing the stuff and I have to keep wearing clothes. And so now it's like everything is dirty because everything I take out smells so weird. The smell is so weird. And I kept thinking, how in the world could this be? As I was like, okay, did I wash something with the clothes and then it made everything smell bad? So then wash them again and then dry them again. And usually I use white vinegar and then use orange essential oil on the wool balls to dry it. And so then and it will just smell fresh. It won't smell like anything. It doesn't have a bunch of perfumes and stuff. But the wool balls, make it smell kind of fresh, but it also keeps them from getting electricity in the clothes or whatever. Isn't that weird how it does that? Like moves the light. And then, so I don't know what the hell, but now I'm washing them for the third time. This time I put in the whitener stuff, the Oxy, whatever, and also some soap and some vinegar, and re-dry them again because I was like, okay, maybe it's because they're not drying fast enough and everything is so mildewed. Even though it's not raining nonstop, everything is mildewed and wet and moist. Even when I went and got in my car the other day, it's like all mildewed inside. It's like, man, everything is so wretched. I don't know. It's weird. And it smells really bad. So everything keeps smelling bad. And I keep being like, okay, this is just a sign of something. Like it's I don't know. It's like a sign of, I'm going to be leaving here, or this place is falling apart, or I don't know. I have no idea. But I can definitely feel a shift is happening. And then, I don't know if I already had said this, is that one person was saying in Tennessee that they had earthquakes yesterday, or the day before. I might be mixed up on days because they just run into each other, I swear to God. And then if I say anything, if I do a TikTok, then it gets me really mixed up too. Because then I'm like, did I say that on TikTok? Or did I? And then it's like, I don't even remember what the hell I said on TikTok. I said something yesterday that, oh, because I think it was, I had seen a video, something about, because all these people talking about all these people coming, and they all just keep freaking out about all these people coming. It's like, you guys, you've got to see, like, something more is going on. Like, what? Like, so they're just abandoned, whole cities are being abandoned at this point. We've got all these places, and they said, and this one thing, that most of the people are coming from Central and South America, and that they crossed over, it told like this route and stuff, that they crossed over and they've been waiting somewhere in Mexico for all this time so that they could come up right now or something. And then you have these people are saying, well, they're coming from all over the world. Well, when you go and listen to different people in different parts of Europe and stuff, everybody's having the same thing. Like all the different people are having this huge amount of immigrants coming. The ones over in England, I don't think they're getting the ones from Central America or in Mexico and stuff. I think they're getting ones like from Nigeria, from, I don't know what all places. But everybody is complaining about this huge flood of immigrants coming into their countries, which, you know, to me, there's like multiple things going on. Because, you know, for one thing, the bad people, they try and do things. So they could have initiated this, right? And so they wanted to burden the cities, take away resources, add more people. But still, how are they getting these people to go? So we know that George before was paying people. And so, but, you know, I mean, he's running low on funds. That's already been being said for like the past 2 years. That is one of the things that these, the dark side is running out of money. That is what the T-Dog did when he was in the power, when he had that 4 years, that he went in and cut off their ways of how they would move stuff. And then they're drawing such attention to how they move stuff because they can't hide it. I mean, everything is so obvious right now. And so they would move this money around and whatnot, and all be so secretive. But now it's all coming to the surface, how they use war, they use this, they use that in order to these grants, all this stuff. All these people who are on these boards and stuff, they're all going to be in trouble for this, the corruption behind these grants and stuff. All this money that there's going to be, because they let you do things, or they get people in their pockets. And so within, they'll, you know, call your card too. And you have to do what you're told. And, but see, this has been the shift, because there's been for years and years and years, because we even got a letter here. It was all came all secretive, you know, and I don't know. Everybody got one, and I'm not sure who sent it, but it was all stuff that I've been talking about with the HOA. So it's being talked about. People are ready to dump the HOA. They're ready to call them out on the corruption and what's going on with the money. Where's this? Where's that? So and that's going to go with more and more places. Everything that has been corrupt and is all going to fall apart. And there's no way around it. It's just the energy is changing, where the energy would have been in that flow before. And it's kind of under a control, but they had it in a flow. It was moving in that way, but it was like the river was going in a certain way, and then Trump came in and put in a dam and then kind of forked it out, so where he had control over where the water started going. And then, so they lost control over something. They lost control over a lot of things. And a lot of the stuff where, you know, we don't want him back, we don't want him, it's part of the show, I think, part of the getting people's attention. And because, yeah, of course they don't want him back. He's taking them down. He's exposing them. He's letting everyone see what's going on, where people are running for the hills now. I thought this was kind of absurd too, because even with all these people, okay, because I got the other one. Oh yeah, because what I was saying about all the people coming, but the other one, so many people were like all upset about Zuckerberg is building this big bunker just right out in front of everybody. He don't give a shit. He's just building this big ass bunker right on Hawaii, stolen land, and just building himself a nice big bunker. And people are just outraged. And I was like, you bet. What about, does he not read Forbes magazine? Does he not know what the, about the doomsday map? And that Hawaii isn't going to be there? And I don't know what island he's on. Like, you can go on and look. When you look at the Hawaiian Islands, it's like one little tiny thing is left or something, or maybe a couple speckles. I don't know how big they would be when you got up close to them, if they would be like an island someone could own privately because it's small, or if it would be one that could hold a whole community. I don't know. But it looks tiny, like it's not the same. You know, but you figure most things that are close to the water, when the water rises, it's going to change. Yeah, but there's mountains on Hawaii. So every place is going to be, we're going up. It's like we're going up in the land. And so it's all movement through realms and stuff. It's all movement all the time. So people just all get caught up in like everything's solid and flesh and blood, and they don't realize that it's not like that. It's like, because you give it that mass by that, you focus on it. It gives it that, because that is the same thing with the health and stuff. But it's wild, because then I'm going through health issues with somebody else. Hold on. Is this thing away? Want me to move it? How's that? Is that better? And feel kind of like this lump one that had already come out. It's getting full again. It's filling back up. I swear it's hard to have a dog that has health issues. Let me think. So, what was I saying? Okay, if I go back to the other part. Okay, hold on, because everything's just going blank. Hold on. Okay, so back to the people. Oh my God, I've been having this phrase going over and over in my head, over and over. It's like, oh my gosh, it's about to drive me crazy. Is it coming from some sort of thing? And because I am getting so blasted, so fucking blasted with frequency. I can't even fucking stand it. And some of them will come in and just blast, and then you all of a sudden you can't even hear in your ear anymore. It's like this whole ear just goes deaf, and it's horrible, man. I don't know if people that can't hear it, if they just feel it. Like my daughter said yesterday, she messaged me last evening and said that she just out of the blue suddenly got a horrible chest cold and horrible chest pain. It's like, and of course, you know, so that's stressful. Like, there's so much stress, like, right now. There's so much. It's like, it's just nonstop. It's like, fuck, you know, fucking break from this shit. But you got to give yourself a break. It's like, you got to detach from it. Realize it's not real, but it's fucking hard because it feels so real. Oh, that was another thing, too, that I was thinking about, is the feeling real. Oh yeah, okay. Because I had it's like this little, I don't know, like a mini conversation, kind of, it seemed like, because there was something, my one grandma, there was something, I don't know if I was thinking about something with my mom or my grandma or whatever, and then it made me think of her. And so then somewhere in it, I was like, wondered what she thought of me, how she felt about me. And the message that was back was that it was different when you're alive. So when she was alive, she didn't have the same kind of feelings because she was so focused on her own feelings. So people get so consumed by their own feelings that they don't observe the same feelings until they go out of the body, the compression stocking. I get out of this body, and then they go in, or, you know, let go of it's just like feelers. It's just like senses. So you let go of all the sensations, all the overwhelming senses that bring so much pain to yourself. Then when you let go of that, you see things differently. And so it opens up your mind, and you see people in relationships differently. But a lot of people, while they're birthed into their experience, they have a problem being able to go past that part of being able to see past their own pain, because the pain is just, that's all they can feel all the time is their pain. And so it distorts how they look at everyone and everything else. And so it is, I thought that was interesting. I was like, that is interesting. Like, and then it was something about the all-consuming feeling that some people have when they are in their bodies like that. That the pain and stuff is so consuming, all of that. But, you know, and I don't know what everybody's feels like. I just know that you can learn to manage it. But it's all, you know, it's a challenge. I mean, that's what life is about, is accomplishments and challenges, and, you know, leveling up and working hard, and, you know, becoming your best self. And it's, and all the challenges and stuff, like, you know, I'm sure that the things that we go through, like when I sit here and question, like, oh my God, the stuff that I've been going through, but there's something that I'm learning from it. There's a purpose to it. I just don't really realize what I'm learning until you get past out of it, out of the lesson, and then you see some side of you that is there that wasn't there before, an extra facet, a different shine, or some aspect to you that blossomed out of the experiences, even though they are so overwhelming and stuff. So, but let me think. Okay, because all the people coming across, so I was triggering people about that, because to me it's like, I'll just do a house swap. Like, let's just swap houses, because a lot of them live in places where most of us want to go and retire anyways, where people are all like, yeah, I want to move over there, I want to retire over there, I want to go there on vacation. So all these people are leaving these places and then coming over here just out of the blue. And like, what is their government doing? What are their businesses doing? Who's working over there? Who's keeping their cities running? And so these tons and tons of people, as they're all leaving their cities to walk so far, to go to a place that has, I mean, what do they think they're being offered over here? Like, that's what I'm saying. Is there something that they're being offered? Like, is there some kind of flyers up everywhere that say, you know, because that would be an easier way to evacuate people, is say, like, this great thing is waiting. You just got to get over there. Just walk and you can get over there. But then that just gets people moving out of the region where there's going to be so much devastation and storms. And, you know, I don't, there's so much weird stuff. Like, I mean, because the stuff like Hawaii was, I think it brought so much to the surface of realizing how really bad our government is, like how they go in and just steal land from indigenous people, and how underhanded the corporation, like the whole system. And so it really brought that surface, especially that just go in and just mass murder right there. And I can fucking worry about it. And then you got, you know, these jackasseries over there. He's putting in his bunker. But the thing that was getting me about that was, like, so I did this video. I said, so what happens if you build a bunker in a landmass, but that landmass gets taken over by water and goes underwater for a couple thousand years? What happens to the bunker inside? And everybody was going, you drown, you drown. Like, yeah, so what would Zuck's real future be? Oh, another thing too, I saw yesterday a news clip, and it said the extreme amount of rocket launches, because I kept seeing a rocket launch yesterday live. I kept seeing it. I was like, what the hell, another rocket launched and it's live? And so then I get a news bulletin thing, and it says that in 2023 there was like 120, maybe it was 123, maybe it was 117, I don't remember, rocket launches. I was like, okay, They're definitely trying to get people's attention. Like, this is absurd. How many years did we go with none? Even to the point, like, that not NASA was such a big thing when I was a kid. And they build it up and build it up. Everyone want astronaut food and all that stuff. And going to the moon, all this, you know, it's like, get everybody on your team. And then all of a sudden, it's like, oh, no, we're not going to spend money on that anymore. That's way too much money. And, you know, we're not really going far. Like, it's all such bullshit. And then, now they keep doing these. And it's like, these people have got to start questioning, like, well, where are they going? Where are all these rockets going? Are they not getting out? Like, where are they headed? Because I think that's what they're trying to do, is keep showing people, like, because you got to think of what are the easier ways to open people's minds. Like, even the stuff with the sky, it doesn't seem like it really, I mean, the sky is so wild. I can't even believe all the wild videos I see of sky stuff. And this one guy caught this two suns rising. He seemed to be, like, confused. But I don't know, maybe it was a sky watcher. I don't know. I've seen so many of these videos, I can't remember. Because I've seen so many that have caught the two suns. I've seen ones that have caught three. I've caught all these different things. And right, the one who was catching them right as they were coming up and coming apart. They were spraying right there, trying to cover it. And so they're always doing that. Like, everybody keeps complaining about how much they're spraying. It's like, what do they think? Like, when this comes busting through, I could see a big sky event happening, because I don't know, there's some weird things. Like, I don't know if it's in the Bible or some prophecy or something, and it says something about I don't know if it's about the trumpets, something in New Zealand, when this thing happens, that there's going to be, you know, that we're close to this Nibiru coming through or something. I don't know. I feel like that there's so much going on. It's so hard but it's all going to fall apart to go back together. So however it's going to go, it's like we're not meant to see every little fucking thing. It's meant to be a surprise on some of this stuff. But it won't surprise me at all if there's some big sky event that is what brings everybody out so that they see. And if that's how they're going to approach this, to get people to understand that this is different than what you think it is. And then, you know, if they are evacuating all these people to get them into safer land masses, and at the same time, Zach's building a bunker at a place that is, by, you know, the maps logic, Forbes, and that's, you know, the doomsday map came right from the naval. And then that comes from, like, looking like they know this stuff is coming. They know this cataclysm is coming. They know about all this stuff. They know that there's cycles. They know there's a reset. And they're trying to use it to their benefit. You know, get people to be scared about climate and stuff like that. It's like, this is the reset. This is the earth is changing positions. The earth is rolling over. She's done laying on that side. That side is feeling raw. It's beat down. So she's got to roll over to expose the fresh side of her. And when there'll be the fresh sides that will come up, there'll be a lot of history. So we'll get a lot more history that will be shown to us when things start shifting. It's already happening. There was, where was this? It was, I think, in Florida or someplace. They found something, I don't know if it was Egyptian or something. They found something that they're saying now, it's like showing it would have had been there 45,000 years ago or something. Like, all of their historical shit is falling apart. Like, things keep being exposed. People keep finding things, like crazy things. Like, somebody can find a coin that shouldn't be there. And it's like a fossil. And it, like, brings a whole story. I keep seeing all these different kind of videos and stuff. So everything is falling apart in the story. And the news is going to have to do a lot of backpedaling, because they've already put their foot in it. But a lot of those people, I don't know, I think some of them are like AI or some kind of CGI or something. Did I already say about Christy McNichol and that Millie Bobby Brown? Is I swear to God, that is her it's like, it's got to be a clone of hers or something. Like, especially because when I watched the little thing about Christy McNichol, and she was super popular, like, well, I was young too, so I didn't, I mean, like, you knew of some popular kids, like the ones that I felt like were Leif Garrett and the girl off Happy Days, the people off of Partridge Family, the Brady Bunch, like all those kids, they all seemed like, kids that were famous kids. And so there was a lot of them. I don't remember Christy McNichol. Like, I think, she was like a star of a show. I think it was called Family or something. And she was like super wholesome. I don't remember everything about it. But anyways, she was really famous. But she didn't want to do that life. I don't remember what all she said. It was probably because she fucking creeps, especially if you're a cute kid. And so she left and didn't stay in doing it, even though she was like this hit show and, she was making money and whatever. So she left the industry. But then it made me think, oh, but they somehow got her DNA or something. And they're like, because they're very into that. If something works, then they're going to create another one. If something works, they want to repeat it. And they're just weird like that. And so, and not everything works like the second time. But in this case, if I'm right, it did, because then if they created, a lot of people, like, I don't know. I mean, some people just go and have babies the old-fashioned way. But even if you go into the hospital, you could switch their baby out. Like, you could pick what parents they want to raise this kid. I just saw Heather O'Rourke's clip on her thing. That was so sad. It's, because she was so cute. And Spielberg picked her. And then the mom, she was just, I don't know. I feel like we've all known moms like this, girls like this, that, I don't know. It's like, it wasn't like she was strange or odd. There's a lot of moms like her. Maybe not super educated, maybe struggled with drugs in the past, maybe came from a poor family. I don't know, it's just, and then so she got no leverage on what she was saying when she was speaking up. And then when you get into the conspiracy side of things, it's like, Jesus fucking Christ. Go listen to Sloan. If you listen to any of the channelers or mediums or whatever, Sloan does a whole thing about what happened. She goes in and watches it. And it's crossover when you go and you start hearing it to a point where you're like, okay, well, maybe she's just filling the gap. I don't know. Like, I hear this stuff at different times, and you don't know what different times that things are released, but when things fit together a certain way. So, but Millie Brown, like, I don't know who her parents are. There's like a lot of these parents are even from cults and stuff. And but you could go in as like rich parents and go into a fertility place, and then you're impregnated with a certain person, and then you have handlers that just so happen to be, somebody so happens to be your kid's best friend's mom. Like, this stuff is very manipulated out here in the world. Like, people don't realize how, like, we're pawns in a game. It's like they play with our minds, they play with our lives, and people don't realize it. So it doesn't even have to be, but somehow I find it weird when you see somebody who looks so much like somebody, and then they're on a big hit show. Like, I don't know. It was just weird stuff. And then you see other actors, like these, I don't know, I wouldn't call them up and coming. It's just like, sometimes I feel like that they take these people's DNA and then they make a whole bunch of them, and then they just keep throwing them at you and seeing if anything catches. Because some of the people seem too much like the other person. It's like where you're just kind of a gimmicky kind of, so I think they have to do it in like a separation of time. Like I'm sure we have Bridget Bardot and Lana Turner out there somewhere too. Probably got Marilyn Monroe. We probably got several Marilyn Monroes. No telling. Maybe Britney is one of them. I think I've seen that conspiracy theory before. So I don't know. This place is so fucking weird. But I was just thinking it was just so funny how the people were all being so outraged about Zucker. And I was like, but the outcome for his bunker would not be good. Like, why would you build a bunker on an island when all the water is like in a, like, it doesn't make any sense. And he's supposed to be so science and stuff. Like, if you were going to build a bunker, you would have to go up higher into the mountains. And I would even think like you wouldn't want to go too high, because if you really think like this cataclysm, like if you don't know what's going to happen, you got to be like so careful over where you put it. And whatever's meant to be is meant to be. If you're meant to be taken out, then you'll be taken out in your bunker. Like, your bunker's not going to save you if you're supposed to be taken out. If you're leaving the game, if you're leaving the story, you know, maybe your story, you know, you're gonna have a different story, a different reality there for a while in the bunker, and that was your reality, and then that one ends. They all have endings. They all have, you can't stay in a storyline forever and ever. Although that's where, you know, that was a confirmation. Although that's where we're supposed to be headed now, but it's more of a control, because that is more of like how we are in our energy bodies when we're not embodied, that we have more control and we can stay wherever we want to stay. So we're going to go more into that kind of state of being. Like, I don't know, like we could just fade in and out of, just be fading in and out of rooms, just showing up like lucid dreaming, like the Men in Black go around and invade into our houses and stuff. I'm always wondering if there's anything that is moving back there and stuff. But when I'm sitting here, just sitting here, I always see things like you can see something that will go run real quick, or you'll see something that'll go out, like all sorts of stuff. I saw this guy yesterday. There was this video, and it was showing all this water was going. There just keeps being floods all over the place, all sorts of water things, and so this one guy was showing a video to show this flood and something that was happening. Another guy who had a paranormal one, he was showing something that the other guy didn't see. And so it was a black, dark energy, and the dark energy was up against the wall. And as the water came around, because the dark energy was kind of like, how he said it was perfect. It's like that's like a chameleon. It's trying to like blend in with the wall. It's trying to look like the door. And I said that's what they do all the time. They'll like blend in. That's why, like, when I had a bunch of things hanging off of the door, I had to go move them, because then you'll start noticing like that they will try and like, it will take up more space. They'll try and blend in with something, but you'll just see it just to look different. And so, but in the video you see it perfectly. As the water comes around, and right as the water goes, this thing just lets go of the wall, the door that it's on, and just takes off out across the water. It's just like this black energy movement. And I know there's people who think like that's demons and stuff like that, but it doesn't have that kind of intelligence. I don't think, unless it's a shapeshifter thing, which there's a whole bunch of stuff going on with that right now. There's a place, oh, where is it? They're being like invaded by pale walkers, I think they're called. There's a guy who has been doing videos. I think he was doing them on Bigfoot. Like, there's all sorts of crazy stuff going on out there in the woods. And people keep going out. It's like the same thing as going up to the giant store. It's like, y'all are messing with shit. Like, you're messing with shit. And so, somewhere there, I think somewhere in Arizona, but there's also some in Peru. I think it's Peru, where those people are battling them. And then in this other place, and this one guy, so he did some kind of video on it, and he said he is getting thousands per day of people messaging him, telling him what happened with them. And so lots and lots of people are having crazy interactions, like more with the dog man thing. Remember the trucker with his dog man thing and how scary he said it was, and how the thing was like running right next to his truck and looking at him like this giant werewolf creature running, looking in at you, trying to reach in. Oh, that's so creepy. It's like, fuck, when it's dark, I'll stay inside. And it gives me the creeps even when I have to go out and get wood. And it's like, oh, at least I'm straight and right by the house. But the other day when it was so windy and I opened the door and that loud crash happened right when I opened it and I thought something was running towards the door. Oh my God, that scared the shit out of me. Run in, slam the door real fast, lock it as fast as I can. I was like, oh my God. But I know there's supernatural creatures out there. And then you're out there and you hurry and run in, and then you hear one splat right up against your house. It's like, ah. But there's a lot of scary stories. And so that guy said he's being overwhelmed by how many, but so there's all sorts of sightings. Bigfoot, there's all sorts of people who are having alien creatures like out in their yard, and they're having these pale creature things are creepy looking. They look like what they've shown like in vampire movies, how they'll have some of those vampire things. That's what they look like. And kind of, another thing that's weird, that big face that was up in the sky? So the guy went out with all of his neighbors. He had this whole group of people all went out to go look. And everybody's out there with their phones and stuff out there to look at this fucking face, which shows back up. And like when it's looking down, I swear to God, this eye, you see blackness move. It's creepy as fuck. And so they're all videotape. Well, I don't know how many people. He kept telling them all, videotape it. We need other. And in one of the videos I saw where it was a double, like it was showing it from different angles. And so there was other people who were getting it, but everybody kept like looking up like, what? And how creepy it is. But the thing is, it is so fucking creepy is I keep seeing that face. Like a commercial will come on and it'll be like a face like that. And then some of these binaural beats, it keeps having a face like that. Where was it? I kept seeing that face yesterday all over the place. I keep going outside to look out when in the sky when I go outside, but it's so overcast. It's so well fogged in or whatever we are. It's and the weather is doing such weird stuff. Like everybody is saying that it's being too warm, and it's people aren't getting snow. But over in like North Dakota or South Dakota, I got a huge ice storm. A really bad ice storm. And I've been in an ice storm before. It's horrible because trees start breaking and falling. And so they're having a big, horrible storm with the cold. And, but then I've seen ones above them, like in Canada, where they're saying there isn't. They're having weird. They've got all these geese. There's no snow. It doesn't make any sense. And then I've seen a lot of people too from Canada speaking out about the medical, and they're like, yeah, everything's like this socialism is the way to go. But they said that you will die before you ever get to a doctor. That you can't get in. These people are waiting and waiting and waiting. They got the maid going all the time. Like they're putting a lot of people out of their misery. Because the only way to live is obviously, being dependent on the government. And if you can't do that, then you have no place. It's like, well, everybody's got their own lessons. But man, it's hard to watch. This is hard. This is so hard. And then, and I don't know. When I just look at this stuff about all these people coming and I try and make logical sense of it, it seems like to me that even if they were trying, if the dark hats were trying to create this chaos and this fighting for resources, which one person said that they have had half their family have died over this course. And they're saying, so they are saying, if this happened in my family, there's got to be happening in a lot of families. There's got to be an extreme amount of of the population is going the opposite. And they say that they're not talking about that and how off balance it would be, because you got to have so many babies to keep up with the amount of the pass. And so it's a whole thing to keep a species going. And so, but they're trying to dismantle a species, and they want to start over, but their time is up no matter how hard they try. So everything is going to go the other way. So even if they're trying to do that, see, then it's going to work better, is going to work in the favor of the evacuation of certain areas that are going to be confronted with really bad storms that probably have been seen through the looking glass in order to know. And because I do believe that there is a lot of people who care about the people and would be evacuating people. They don't want to cause mass hysteria, and they can't control every single thing. And I don't know how it's going to play out with the sky. The sky is definitely showing a lot of people this magical side of itself, where the colors, the things that are up inside, and how everything is not in the rotation that people were told. Everything is off, and so everybody's having these little nudges in order to get them to understand, or get them to think, or start opening their minds, so it doesn't impact them as harshly when the truth is out. But that you have to, because there is going to be a cataclysm. It comes with a reset. It's like the earth is changing position. You just think about, I mean, how rough and raw everything is. So changing positions. A lot of places where we didn't have people living is where people will go to live. So like if you want to have a bunker, it seems like it would be way smarter to go put it by the mountains. But then like there's all this stuff coming out about Shasta and stuff too. That's one thing too about these pale walkers. There's tons and tons of stories of shit over by the Shasta mountains, and there's tons of people who disappear. And I almost went there, and then there ended up being those fires. I had gotten my granddaughter and I a room. We were just going to go on a weekend trip, and her and I got to Mount Shasta together. And then there was all these fires, and I was like, fuck, I don't want to get trapped over there in these fires. And so we didn't go. And then everything's just deteriorated, because I know people just keep going out and just acting like life's normal, just keep continuing to live like like this is just acceptable. But to me, it's like everything is showing that everything is falling apart. It's like in that movie Inception, when the cities are falling apart. To me, it's like it's all falling apart already. Everything's falling apart, and you're just standing there. It's like you're gonna get hit with something, because everybody is just mindlessly just keeps trying to live life like it's normal. It's like, and I think part of the thing about with the sickness is to slow people down, to get people to stop and to listen to their body, acknowledge their bodies, listen, start minding and taking care of themselves, and not running around and taking a quick, here, I've got to get to work, so just give me the quick thing and let me get to work. It's like, we got to stop that. We got to take our time. We got to listen to our bodies. When your body's telling you it's tired and it's sick, it's for a reason. You got to give it time to heal. And then you got to look up what things there are to help you heal. And geez, that's going to be a thing. Like, I've gone through so many. Like, I've seen improvement every time. Because with the boron, I saw a huge improvement. And then all the different, I give her a lot of different supplements of, like with the teas and stuff like that. And then I was giving her mushroom before, but then she kept being so weird about eating any of it. So then I put it on my tea, but then I've been giving her the stuff out of my tea. So I feel like she's gotten a lot of those. And then I'm getting more of those, like the horse paste stuff. I saw a huge improvement with that, where I thought, man, she's got a lot more spunk. And that's what the one girl was saying about the turkey tail. Like, her dog all of a sudden is just like real spunky and feeling better. So I don't know. I'm just going to keep trying this stuff. But obviously, it's, as long as they keep poisoning us, that we're fighting an uphill battle until things turn the other direction. And then, I don't know how it's all going to go down. It all depends. Like, there's so fucking much. The stuff with the money thing, that can really put things off. Like, it can shut our whole city down, to where then we have to start, well, who's going to go to work? How are we going to get this? What are we going to do? We're just going to go out and start walking around and foraging and, like, or are they going to some event's going to happen, and then they're going to, because to me it seems like some events going to happen, like for sure, we know Joe had to come in to collapse everything, and so it's got to be on the verge of this collapse. Who knows what their big drama moment's going to be, but something is going to go, and then it's going to be, well, you should have let this guy be in there to begin with, because it would have never happened with him. That always had to happen this way. It had to go with everything collapsing under Joe. And then, so then there's going to be this stuff in the sky. I mean, there's no getting away from it. I think it is like in the Sumerian tablets or something, or maybe it was Wilcock. He was talking, I don't know. Somebody's saying that there's a date about Nibiru going to fly in here. That it's going to land in, I don't know, 2025, 2027 or something. But there keeps being sky events. There's things happening. There's things happening in the weather that has to do with the pole shift. And I'm wondering if the poles haven't already shifted because the weather is making this big shift. So things are turning and shifting, but there's still going to be all these storms. There's going to be volcanoes, earthquakes, all that stuff. And there's no telling. I mean, we could get the super earthquake. There's no telling what's going to occur for the cataclysm. But I think what they can do is that they can see what land is going to continue to be safe. And that is where they'll start trying to draw people, just like how I think they're drawing people from these other countries here. Because I think a lot of those land masses are going to go through some really horrendous storms and more devastation. So to get more people into a bigger area, and even though that they want to get us to all fight for resources and fight each other, and there's a lot of division where people do feel that threat. Oh, you're coming to try and take what's mine. But that's where you got to use your mind and your biases to cross out of that, because we all need to come together, because that is the point of it, is all of us coming together in unity. Everybody has things to offer, and then we build a community based on all of the offerings that people come and bring into a community. And so it is it's more well established when it is a lot of different perspectives, a lot of different things come together. And so, and it will be more based on vibration. It won't just be based on where you were born and stuff. It will be like there will be shifts in that kind of. And so, but I think that, so all these people who are coming here, that they are being brought here for safety. And then it's us, it's like, when your parents get divorced and get remarried, and then you've got new siblings, and it's like, you guys got to figure it out. And you're sharing a house, figure it out. And so that's like what we have to do developmentally. We have to figure it out. Like, you can't sit here and argue and fight with your neighbors, which America has been pretty good about that. Like, having a lot of different people live on the same block, but there is a lot of triggers going on. There's a guy who just was triggered because they do this shit on purpose. And this guy just went out and he got the list of people who were, I think, offenders of the, little kid, what I'm saying? And he got the list and went and started all their houses on fire or something. You get these people all wound up and get them all like angry and feeling like there's no control, and we got to do something about this. The kids are being hurt and stuff, and they get people as well. And then also, you don't know when they are just using that to their benefit and creating out of an MK Ultra situation, and so that they can create this thing. So we'll come in and do that, and then so it's there's all like everything is like multiple things, but everything is turning. That's the thing. No matter which direction, if it's headed towards the dark, it's going to turn and go the other way. It's going to go towards the light, because it's the shift. It's just the way it's shifting. It has to. So it's going to, everything will turn in a different direction, but there's going to be chaos because not everybody's in the same place. So there probably will be some fightings and all sorts of stuff. But if they are trying to, because there's got to be something that's going to go down. So you think they would hurry, crash the money thing. Then they will say who's in charge, and he'll clean up this big mess. We got a big mess going, and he's going to save the world. So he's going to come in and clean it up. And then it's going to be a lot of offers of the cities. I mean, maybe it's going to coincide with a very dramatic storm that's going to take out one of these places, where that's going to be like wake people up like, oh my God, it's a good thing you were here. And don't forget, they're coming from all over the places. And don't forget, Europe isn't on that map. Europe is very, very like, man, if you live in Europe, go look at the map and see, because there's the biggest places are going to be like Africa. But Africa splits in half, parts of Russia. But don't forget, the things are going to go more tropical too. But there's going to be shifts. People are going to have to just get it out of their minds. Like, well, I'm a Russian. Well, I'm an American. Well, I'm English. Well, I'm this. Well, I'm that. No, we're all human. And so wherever it is that we have to go and start building our villages is where we have to go. Where, you know, we got to get into. And it isn't even going to be human, because they've already changed that classification. It's just got to be, you know, we are living beings here to survive. So, but then, so all these people becoming, it seems like to me that they will start with the freedom cities. They'll start trying to get people to build cities. And to me, personally, I think a lot of these people that are coming from these third world countries probably can go in and take an empty field and turn it into a town, where you could take a bunch of Gen Z, Gen X's, Gen A's, and millennials, or whatever the fuck, and send them out in a field and say, you know, build something. And they would all just sit there and cry and say it's hot, and where's my this and where's my that. These people would come in and turn a fucking field into a city. They'll get it functioning. They'll go out and dig up, make farms. They'll go out and start building houses. They'll show people how to get it done. So they will be showing people, like, because, you know, they've had to be a lot more dependent on themselves. People here have become super dependent on everyone else, and they don't know how to do shit for themselves. So there will be a good part of what these people come in to offer to show. So, but I think that they're going to do some kind of thing where they'll start, you know, making offers. I don't know if they would go in right away and say, hey, we need to move everybody over here. We need to move everybody down there. Everybody over there, go over there. You know, I don't know if they would do that real quick because of the chaos and the fear. Because most people are just live on the edge of fear. It's like, oh, the hat's going to drop at any moment. Everything's going to fall apart. And everybody's just, oh, so scared of everything. Oh, my God. And, you know, people are on high alert. And it's part of the system overload, I think. Part of the system overload right now, I think, is intense. And so just like what my grandma was saying, you don't see the things the same when you are in that high overload of emotions in your own being. So, but they'll keep doing these snapping, trying to get people's attention, like with this outrageous stuff going on. And there's going to be so much more arrests and stuff, even people stepping down. Yeah, there will be people who will still be arrested, people in families. It will be like community devastation. Like if they start, like the one guy on the HOA here, if they really start trying to pin some of this stuff on him, like, ugh. Because I don't even know where the other people were who did the corruption. You know, like, I don't know if he stays on it to keep trying to cover it and they all left, or maybe they died. Like, I don't know. All of these things will be exposed, though. I just know that there was some shady shit because of the way the developer and using the roads and this whole thing about the roads and stuff out here. So anyways, I knew that there was some shady shit, and I don't know. I've always been against the HOA, and then even when I went and was on it, I was only, because I was supposed to just be doing it for doing parties and stuff, but then they needed a tiebreaker, and the girls who were on it at the time, they were fun, you know, we were having fun doing parties and stuff. And so I was like, okay, you know, I'm not, you know, don't forget I have a brain injury. I'm not really paying that much attention to what you're talking about, and I can't, you know, I can't keep up with all this bullshit. And so when they're all just, you know, talking about it, to me, it just feels like, okay, this feels too pushed. It feels too, like, I don't like it. And so I didn't keep doing it. And, but I saw things where I was like, this is corrupt, man. This is And then when the developer put in this gate now, and he's closed all of us off from the mountain, I was like, that it is just such bullshit. It's like, this is just bullshit. And there's so much fucking corruption in our communities and stuff. So people who think that they're so uppity, you know, like developers, contractors, realtors, there's going to be all sorts of arrests. There's going to be all sorts of doctors, nurses, lawyers, judges, city council, water department people. Like, ugh, there's going to be all sorts. And I keep wondering if that is what the deal is with my clothes. Is this something funky in the water again? And, I mean, we already had this funky stuff. I mean, it's been all over the news now where there's something in the water. And and here we already had the signs up not to drink. It was full of chlorine. And now my clothes smell weird. So now I washed them again, and then I had to use the fragrance soaps. And so I don't know, maybe that will mask it. Maybe that's why other people they use so much fragrance soap that they don't notice because it's masked. But oh my God, it smells weird. And everything, just outdoors smells weird, everything. And it's just, man, but I just feel like we are in that shift, like the poles, because the weather things have changed so much. It's like, man, I don't know. It's just like everything is like this mystical, supernatural world. And so, and it is like it's a never ending story, but it's like the story is, it's not like it's being written because it's a replay, but for us, it's being written, you know, it's going right now. Like, we don't know what's up ahead, even though up ahead has already happened. And you can keep trying to see it, and you can see little blocks and blotches, and then you don't even know, like, well, am I filling this in? Am I creating this? Like, you don't know until after it goes, and then you see, like, oh, and then that helps you understand your own mind too, and your own connection, and how connected you are to the reality that you find yourself existing in. So the more that you can connect to it, and the more that you're trying to understand things, then as things play out, then you can see how well you interpret it. So it's beneficial to, I think, but I think about weird stuff, you know. I think about, weirds me out. I was like, what the hell do other people think about? I saw this guy, and he does these videos now where he's like, neurodivergent people are normal, and neurotypical people are uptight and control. They're the ones that are abnormal. And see, that's the flipping, because then all of a sudden is where people start seeing the people who are neurotypical are just, you know, ourselves, our weird selves, where people are like, okay, weird autistic person, weird, you know, why don't you control yourself, attention deficit, and, you know, all this stuff. It's like, all the little labels that they could throw at you. It's like, because you are so cut off from yourself, you're trying to hide yourself to please others. And that is what's going to start showing up so much, is how much people are trying to hide themselves. And that's where you got to ask yourself, well, what are you ashamed of? Why are you hiding yourself? Why don't you like yourself? And that's part of the journey, is to find, you know, to learn to love yourself, to see how you hide yourself, to see how you try and please others, to see what, you know, try and understand, why are you ashamed of this, and see where it comes from. You know, it comes from some past trauma where somebody said something to you, and it's like, and it just kept staying in there, and it kept being on repeat, and then pretty soon you don't even know why it's saying it anymore. And so, but it's one of your messages that you feed yourself. So it's those things you got to let go, you know. You're weird, you're too much, you're not enough, you're too needy, you're not needy enough, you're too this, you're too that. You just got to be you, and, you know, make the shifts you want to shift. Just because you are the you that you are today doesn't mean that's the you that you're going to be tomorrow. Tomorrow you can be a completely different you. The next day too. You're always changing. You're always in a state of movement. You are always people having interactions with you that change you in some way. You have to think every day. You have to look at things. You have to evolve somehow every day. So, and I think it's important to push yourself into states of discomfort. You think, oh, that'd be too hard. Oh, I don't want to do that. Push yourself and try it. Do it. because then you start seeing what you're made of. Like, fuck, man, I thought that would be hard. Look at me. Fuck, I'm powerful. I can do whatever the hell I want to do. That's where you get to see that side of yourself, where you get to know this powerful side of yourself, this like go-getter, a problem solver. But as long as you keep sitting back and being like, well, no, I don't want to make a mistake. I don't want anybody to laugh at me. I don't want anybody to think I'm weird. I don't want, you keep yourself trapped. That's the prison. That's the prison. You build up your bars around you because you're so scared of what somebody else is going to think of you. And so it traps you. It keeps you it can keep you in your mind, which I was really excited because when I had talked to the girl the day before, she was just, she was struggling. And then yesterday, my daughter talked to her for a long time and she said that she was really doing good. And so it's it's an emotional roller coaster, healing and trying to find yourself, especially when you've been so cut off from yourself and when you've been just in a mode of survival for your whole life. When you've never had anybody on your side, you've always had all these people. And I think, another thing too with some of the kids from the system, that they learned how to manipulate people because, they were so cute and, they've got troubles. And then you got these people coming in like, oh, we just want to solve it so that they can get, it's just more out of balance. It's more messes up the development stages. It's just more contraindication, but it's more of a complexity, more like everybody can get through whatever was handed to them, whatever cards you were dealt, whatever hand you were dealt. You can play your hand. You play it to the best of your benefit, but you can get yourself out of these situations. You don't have to stay trapped like, oh, well, now you're trapped. Now you got that diagnosis. There's no hope. Oh, there's no hope for you. You're just going to be a neurotic mess for the rest of your life. It's like, no, there's hope for everything. You've got to give yourself hope. You've got to take on the challenge. You got to see, like, I can do this. I can do. And to me, it is an important thing. If you have yourself very isolated, feeling like you can't trust anybody, you got to just start doing little things, try little bits, take baby steps out, you gotta see, like, to be rejected is not going to destroy you. Maybe when you were a kid and you were rejected and your mom told you, you're a little weirdo, get away from me, little weirdo. And so you're so scared that anybody's gonna think you're weird, so you can't act anyway because you already know you're weird. So you gotta just sit there and be quiet, not do anything because you're just a weirdo. And so you gotta go out there and just be your weird self. Just put your weird self out there and see, because it's probably not going to be rejected. You were rejected because your mom, who had such a low self-esteem about herself, when you would do that, she could only see herself and feel shame and embarrassment, and she would feel bad about herself, so she would shame you, so you didn't reflect back to her how she felt about herself. So that is one of the big problems why when we have all these parents with such low self-esteem that don't like themselves, who don't know how to take care of themselves, it becomes a generational curse to self-esteem, to people's involvement with their communities. It causes such a roadblock. But every roadblock, every obstacle, everybody has to learn how to take down your obstacles. You have to learn how to recognize them and decompensate, just destruct them, take your walls down. You can climb over them, jump over them, take them down, walk around them. You got to stop seeing the obstacles as that you can't get past them, because it is, and this is where things get very hard, is because when you're trying to find your own desires, this is where you got to be in contact with yourself. Because if you're trying to find your own desires and you're not on your path, and doors are shutting, and you feel like, well, this is what you're supposed to do, this is what you want to do, this is how you're supposed to be doing it, but nothing is working. You got to pay attention, because the universe is giving you signs. It's showing you. Just like when you need to take rest, it will make you sick. It will show you that you're going in the wrong way. But then when you are going the right way, you can still have obstacles. And then you got to know which ones you need to go over, around, which ones are there to push you to learn. And so that's where it can get, where people can chase a dream for years and years and years and think that they're on the right track, and things keep going wrong, but they think that they've got to push through and get, that they can accomplish their dreams if they just work hard enough. And that is where you've got to get more in touch with the universe and see. And keep in mind too, because even when I was going in a different direction, it was completely allowed. It wasn't like I was having things, no, that was a part of my journey. A part of my lessons was to go way out there on left field, lose everything, and then to see, what did I lose? And, was it something that I needed? Like my career, I wasn't happy in my career. I wasn't, like, there's a lot of things where you start looking at it as like, I really took me out of a life that I wasn't happy with. And it threw me back and said, hey, you're not going the right direction. We're going to start over here. And we're going to give you some obstacles. You're going to have a brain injury. You're going to be sick. You need to stay down for a while. And it's like, and that you fight against everything. When something comes and it knocks you off of everything that you think you're supposed to be doing, and then it feels like you're just a big failure. It's a lot to go through. But it teaches you a lot. You grow in your understanding and seeing. And so when you are on track, like, I still have obstacles. I still know I'm on track. And there's just signs. There's just signs that come in. So we'll see. I mean, we should be close to this knowing and this understanding for all of us who have been putting our energy towards something and not getting caught up in all of the BS and trying to direct our energy towards what it is that we want in our future and our lives. Then we should see when these things start flipping and turning. So there should be some dramatic turning where things will start going in a different direction in people's lives. So it should be really close. Like, it should be starting to flip. Like, I see it kind of like, I don't know what that is. It seems like it's kind of like a game or something. And it has all of these things that can flip open. And kind of like, it reminds me of a concentration game. Like, you lift the door, lift this door, and you're looking for the matches. But it's like all of these doors are going to just start opening. And all of them are going to start opening and flipping things going the other direction. So it may not be like a big sweep. It may be all of these different doors opening that turns everything, where it's just, because it is all the micro, macro. So it will be on all different levels. So I'm sure we'll see a lot of changes just start happening in people's lives. Things will start taking momentum, going in certain directions. And so then it will be more of like knowing, okay, we're going now. Like, things are headed in this other direction. But it still is going to be dramatic, because it's going to just throw people so off, because they're so dug in. They're so locked into what they think reality is. And people have argued and fought over it. That's why I'm telling you, don't go in and start, I told you. Just let things fall apart. And I think anybody who comes in with the big I told you is going to hit an I told you for themselves. Something is going to happen that they thought, and that is going to hit them smack dab. Because if you're having that kind of attitude, you'll feel what that attitude is like when it's coming at you. So if you have an attitude towards other people of like, I told you so, then you're going to have something that will happen. So you get to feel that. And it's not as a punishment. It is so that you see. So you see both sides. So you get to be like, oh, that's kind of shitty. I don't want to do that. That doesn't feel good at all. I don't want to do that anymore. I got to be different than that. I don't want to be an asshole. So it is, so it's not like the universe is trying to punish you. It's like, that's how the universe works. It's like what you put out, you get back. And so it helps you to see who you want to be. But, there's not a lot of people right now who have the inner knowing and understanding that how important it is what energy you're putting out right now, and how you're directing the energy that you are tuned into. Like you are riding the wave of positivity into into hope, to me, into like this hopeful experience up ahead, into this grand fantasy, this world that is up ahead that we just can see in our dreams, but we know it's up there because we're the creators of it. So we are the ones who are going to create it. So if you see and you feel it, then you're going to be moving towards it. Everybody will have their own stuff. So I don't know, we'll see. But anyways, I do think that there's more to this mass amount of people that are going everywhere. I mean, I know that there's people saying that they're bringing them in so that they can mess with the numbers, because then it doesn't show so much that there's huge amounts of us dying. And these people, they don't have to have any of those kinds of things that everybody else had to have. And so there'll be more about that, more discussion, more, there'll be a lot. I just hope that the med beds hurry and come. I don't know. I'm going to try and set up for a consultation, but like there's so much going on right now. It's like they're telling people you got to wear these again. I'm sure they're going to be like, oh, well, you can't be seen unless you have 5 of these. It's like, oh my gosh. So that kind of stuff just irritates the fuck out of me. So I don't know. I feel like I will get a consultation, and I feel like that's still who I'll end up going to. But like the timing right now, it just is like, ugh, I don't know. And then if everything's going to start crashing and all these medical doctors, all this stuff is going to just start. But you can see, like, they don't give a fuck about health. They give a fuck about having a fancy surgical suite and having, I don't know. They play with people's bodies like they're fucking Barbie dolls or something, like Mr. Potato Head. They're all a bunch of fucking mad scientists. And all I want to do is just get a little cut. And I guess they suck the fluid out of it. So then when they pull it out, it's supposed to be really, really tiny. So it's just a little plastic thing they pull out, like a balloon. There's got no air in it. So it should be simple. And then just close it up and then strap it down and let the body heal for however long. It depends on your health. It depends on how well you take care of yourself, how your body heals. But anyways, I don't know. I know that these doctors and stuff, they don't, all the things about the people who don't really care about humanity, it's all going to come to the surface. They're going to, some of them may not even know it themselves. They may not know what their truth is. They may think like they're really doing it, and not for the money. They're really doing it because they care about people. But then when it comes down to it, the truth will be shown to them. They will see their truth. There's no getting away from the truth. We'll all see our truth. And so it's got to be coming close. There's a whole bunch of things about like the moon and where this is moving, and we're going into Jupiter or Venus or something. It's all about this money shifting. So this year there should be, I don't think that they can go through this year. I don't even think we're going to make it anywhere near November. Like, I think everything is going to start falling apart right away in the first of the year. There's going to be just collapse. And keeping the sky stuff, keeping disasters. It's going to be just chaos. And so anyways, that's, it's just part of what we're here for, I guess, is to go through the chaos to get to the other side, because then it makes the other side very impactful. Like, look at everything we went through and we survived. Look where we are at. We made it. And, and however it is, I mean, some people are out there, going out and interacting in the world. Like, I'm sitting here in a little cabin in the woods, don't have much interaction at all. But still, I mean, whatever's going to happen is going to happen. Like, a tree could fall on my house. Flood could come in. I could be forced to have to go out and live in my car. There's anything that can happen. And I guess right now, I just saw this realtor saying that how she explained it was jacking with the market, this whole thing that keeps coming out, and how they were jacking with the market and stuff. And so where they went and sold all these houses way worth more than what the houses are really worth. So they took houses that were, like, mine was 150. And now they're putting these houses up that, you know, and they say they have some more square footage. So say maybe you could say 200,000 or something, but then they start selling for 350, 450, now 550, 650. So they jacked them up. So now the banks are fucked, and they're trying to do all this stuff because the banks are fucked. Like they're done. And so now what they're going to do, and this is the second person I've heard say this. One was talking about economic thing, and this one was a realtor. And she said, so we oversold all these houses. We sold all these houses for worth more than they're worth. So now the banks are going to call in the note, and they're not going to, so they're going to foreclose on all these houses that are, like if you bought a house for $600,000, so the people who bought houses over the last couple of years, they said that those houses are, they were so jacked up in the prices that the banks can't do it. So when something is going to happen, and then it's going to change, and so all the houses that don't meet that criteria, like the houses are going to drop or something, and that the houses that are oversold, they're just going to go in and call the note. They're going to foreclose on all these houses. And if it goes through, if they really do that, which it would take months and months. So I don't know, you know, if it's going to be some really, you know, against human right drama kind of situation that'll go on, like that keeps happening, which they could have some of that go on, or if it's going to be a lot of threats. So to get people to wake up and to see how much control there is. But it's all going to come back on them. The people who are going to collapse are the people who are the dark energy people, the bankers, the corporation, all the government, the people who just fed off of other people. So they are going to be the ones who collapse. So anyways, you know, it's all going down. I think it's going to start going really quick. Like, it would not surprise me, because I keep saying that, but things do speed up. But it's like there will be this part, there will be a big collapse part. And that, to me, though, is when things are going to get kind of crazy, because there's going to be so many people are going to get so mad, and they're going to just overreact. So it's going to be dangerous, I think. So anyways, we'll see. I've been talking long enough. Let me think if there was something else. I skip around so much that it's like, man, did I finish saying everything I was going to say? And I'm still have this nagging thing on my mind the whole time about Stella, and it will be, you know, trying to, I don't know, she'll cry, and then I'll try and comfort her, and it's like, God, I hope it's, I'm just going to try this Sayak tea stuff and this turkey tail and see what hopes I have from that. And then I still, you know, I don't even know if it even gets up there to the med bed situation, if we even get to. I was thinking I'm going to get one of those quantum wands and just try and do some like healing back on her hips and stuff, and see if I can do something like that. Because I don't know that that would be ethical to take your dog into a med bed. I mean, maybe you can take them into the ones that will heal like their pain or grow back a limb or something. But I don't think that we can take them in the ones that keep extending their life, because that would be unethical, because you got to go with the flow of nature. Like, she has her set time, and then I don't want to be interfering with it. I want to, you know, appreciate every moment I have with her. And but I can't. Man, sometimes you just get faced with all these challenges all the time. It's like, ugh, it's all so challenging. It's always trying to see what you're made of. What would you do with this? What would you do with that? What if this happens? What if that happens? It's like, ugh, I do not want to make decisions out. But I had to over Winston. But once, you see, he was being sick, and you think like the cancer will just kill him or something, and they'll just die. But no, it just gets worse and worse and worse. And then they just get in so much pain. And then it's like, God. But I didn't even know about all this turkey tail. I didn't know all that stuff when Winston got sick. And he was older, because he was 11 or 12. And that, let's see, I'd have to really try and remember his age. He was older. And then when he was little, the vet had told me, man, golden retrievers, not many of them live past 8. they've all got some serious cancer they get. And so for him to live past that time, I thought, man, rung the bell. Like, fuck, I did good. And he lived past the time. And I was always on edge with him, too. Every time he would get sick, I would think, oh, my God, this is it. I call my kids, oh, my God, this is it. You better come say goodbye to Winston. I think he's going to die today. And then he'd pull back through. It's the same thing with Stella all the time. I'll get so, like, consumed with, like, oh, my God. But I did have to call and have him come out for Winston. I don't want to do that. But still, I'm going to try all these things and see. But fuck. I was not expecting to see that this morning. That this is something that takes out most of these big dogs. It's like, fuck, not this place. This place is hellacious, and I still love these big dogs. It's like, man, this place is rough, man. It's rough. So, anyways, we'll see how this day goes. What day is it? Oh, I think it's Saturday. I think the wood guy is coming to bring out wood. He never did come before. I was going to give him a tip if he did come before Christmas, but then he didn't. And so then I was like, well, I'm just going to keep that money. I'm not going to, it's one thing if they make a big thing, to come out. But then it's like, no. So should get wood today. And then, but I don't know, maybe he's going to go into tropical over the next, I don't know. And plus this weird shit with this tsunami. There's a lot of weird shit happening. So, fuck. Tsunami, a volcano, anything can happen. Anything. Every morning that we get up, it's like within the day it just goes and goes and goes. And there's like a lot of loud sounds and this happened and that happened. It's like, oh my God, this is so intense. It's like, fuck, hurry up and just have something happen. Make a move, do something. It's like, God, this is stretched out. But then I'm sure once it's going and you're like running and trying to climb the mountain and get across the mountain before the water gets you, then it's like, oh my God, if I could have just had another few days of relaxation. We're never happy. We're never happy. We're always wanting something we don't have. It's just, I think, a part of what it's like to be alive. So anyways, just work on you and stay safe and be prepared all the time. But don't be too intense. Don't be too like, because then you start being too scary. You're all like on cortisol or something. You're all jacked up on cortisol. You got to just calm yourself down. You got to keep on, because that's what I'll have to do. I'll have to all throughout the day calm myself down. And I'll do it through like breathing. And I swear, even doing big breaths and grunts, like breathe out a big grunt, it lets out so much energy. Just make some noise. Make noises. Let out your energy and just make some noises. And it just is like a release, like where you just feel like, oh, okay, I feel better. Okay, we can make it through this day. And it's so fucking eerie. It's so fucking Krampus out here where I'm at. It's so creepy. And it smells bad. And it's, oh God, it's so much. So anyways, just make the best of the day. Get through it. And I'll talk to you tomorrow. If the powers that be allow it, I will be here tomorrow. So I'll talk to you later. Bye.